Hey, what's going on, team? I'm Coach Trevor with LWStrength.com, and today we have a pretty fantastic video for you guys. Now, today we're going to be going over some causes along with some solutions to back pain. Now, if this is the first time you're checking out this video, I highly recommend you watch it the full length through, as we're going to give you some great tips and tricks with stretching, along with some changes you can make to your daily routine that may be causing your back pain in the first place. Now, if it's not the first time you're watching this video and you're coming back for the stretch routine, first and foremost, kudos to you for trying to stay consistent. And secondly, go ahead to this time to get to that stretching routine. Now, first and foremost, let's talk about the causes of back pain. Now, these are just some general causes, but of course, for everybody, things may vary. Now, the first one, and usually the most obvious, is going to be an injury. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be an injury to the back. This could be an injury to the lower body, for example, the ankle, the foot, the knee, the hips. This could be an injury sustained from everyday life, from a sport, or let's say you got a replacement. So we got a knee replacement, a hip replacement. Anytime we change the way we move from our regular day-to-day life, or something gets changed out from a replacement, we're altering how our body is used to moving from years beforehand, and now we have to adapt and teach our body new ways to move. So when that happens, whether you're babying one side because you're in pain from something else, or you're just not walking the same way you're used to, a lot of times pain up to the back can start from that point there. Now, a second cause for back pain could be either sitting or standing for a prolonged period of time without changing your position. Now, this is usually the most common for people. Let's say you're working at a supermarket as a cash register. So you're checking things out back and forth. Usually your shifts are hours at a time where you're really not moving from a standing position. And the opposite could be true if you're at an office space. So you're sitting at a computer for hours on end, and boom, right there. So hips get tight, hip flexors get tightened up when you're sitting down, and when you're standing, a lot of times, just to get more comfortable, we're leaning to one side or we're leaning over, scanning things back and forth. Our optimal posture is broken with either one of those cases. So that's going to be our second most common way our back pain kind of starts to flare up. Third way there, we kind of touched on it, is just poor posture in general. So even right now, I'm kind of hanging out to my side. Imagine if I did this for several hours a day. I would definitely not be feeling my best self. So poor posture could be arching forward with my shoulders, not having my chest pulled up high, nice and strong. My shoulders are forward. It could also be just a big arch in the back. So my butt is up here and my arched back is up. So my chest is up high, but my core isn't tight. My core is really relaxed. Whereas if I squeeze my core and I pull the pelvis forward, now I'm at a much more optimal position there. And the last one we're going to talk about is your footwear. So regardless of how much you love your shoes, they might not be an optimal option for your back health. So regardless of what brand you're getting, I always recommend, if someone's having a lot of pain that doesn't seem to be going away, why don't you switch out the pair of shoes you're wearing? Now, right now, I'm wearing On Clouds. However, I always ask people to do their own research and to try out several different pairs of shoes before they settle on one to kind of be their everyday wear. And even when you choose on one, I always recommend switch those out on a daily or a weekly basis, because one shoe isn't going to be perfect forever. I go through shoes several times a day, between my workout shoes, between my everyday running around for errands and stuff like that shoes. So you really have to find a shoe that is supportive, that gives you either the arch or the heel support that you're looking for, and everybody's foot is different. So be picky when you're going to find a shoe. Don't just try one on and be like, oh, I like this brand, so I'm going to grab it. Be a little bit picky. Try on a few different pairs, find the right size that you're looking for, and go from there. So that being said, we're going to hop into our 5 stretches here. Now, the great thing about these is they're completely body weight. So we've got rollers, we've got chirp wheels over here. We're not going to be using those today, and reason being is because a lot of times just the body weight stretches are going to be a great help if you stay consistent with them. Now, don't get me wrong, these pieces of equipment here are great in their own right. However, if you're in a lot of pain right now and you're just looking for a great routine to get you in the right direction, body weight is going to be your best bet. You could do it anywhere, you could start today, and you don't have to worry about getting anything additional in your inventory. So, that being said, let's hop into our stretch demos. Now we're going to be starting off this demo here in order of least complex to most complex. So of course, if you're in a ton of pain right now and you're having trouble moving side to side at all, these first few stretches are probably going to be best suited towards you. So our first one here is going to be simply a knee to chest. Now depending on your flexibility starting off with these movements, some of these might be tough just getting into the general position to begin with. So this one here, our end goal is to have those hips and our back on the floor at all times while we bring that knee as high up as we can, just like this here. However, if we have tight hip flexors, tight hamstrings, what may happen sometimes is as we try to lift, you see my front leg, my extended leg is bending. I might not even be able to get into this position, and then my hips are off the ground just like this here. Now, if this starts to happen to you, no worries at all. We're always going to have further progress to be gained when we're stretching. So we would lift the leg up. Now, if you could only get to this point, keep the hands to the side and only get to the highest point you can. But if you're able to get a little bit farther without the hips or that leg bending that's extended, you could grab under the leg and pull slightly higher. Now, if you do have a towel or a PT band, this would be a great time where you could use it to bring around the foot and aid in keeping that leg straight and help pull it up. But again, only do that if you're able to do so without bending this leg up and without lifting those hips off the floor. So this is going to be our first one. Hips are on the floor, back is on the floor, nice and relaxed. Our second one we're going to be flipping around for is a child's pose. Now you guys probably have seen this in yoga or different things like that. We're starting on all fours. My knees are going to be right about at hips distance apart, and I'm sinking back here. I'm trying to relax my toes down, sinking back. I want my arms to be nice and extended in front of me here. And if you could feel the heels on your butt, you've gotten very low, and that's an awesome position to stick in. With this one here, a few cues you want to remember. Relax the neck. You don't want to be looking up. You want to keep a neutral spine. You want to do your best not to arch the back here. Try to keep a neutral spine. If you're in this one and you could only get right to here, again, that's all right. We're going to build on this. So slowly sinking back into this position here, and we're going to be holding it right there. This you'll probably feel in the quads as well if you're having trouble with that flexibility. Some of these stretches you might not feel right in the back right away, but as I was saying in the beginning, the causes of your back pain might not be directly related to something going on in the back. So we still have to address both the legs, the hips, and things like that to help relieve that back pain as well. Now, our third one is also going to be in that same position, and this is a cobra. Now, this could be done in two different ways depending on how tight you are. Now, the first way is always the way I recommend for someone who's in a lot of pain or who has chronic pain to begin with, and that is on the forearms. So we're on our stomach, and your forearms are on the ground, and very slowly and gently, we're going to push our chest up here. And this one, unlike our child's pose, you do want the head coming up, and you're going to do your best to relax and press those shoulders down to the floor. And now my hips, I want those hips to be on the floor as well. Now, if you're feeling comfortable with that, you could try to extend those arms fully. But now my hips should stay on the ground with this one. If you're very tight, you may notice that your hips come up all the way like this, or even at this point my quads are coming up a little bit. You want to avoid that. You're going to put excess tension on the back there. So If you're finding that that's happening to you, then come back down to the forearms and slowly start at the forearm position there. All right. Now we're going to be heading to the back. We're getting into a little bit more of complex stretches here. Now this one is called our piriformis stretch. Now this can be great for both sciatica, hip flexors, tight hips, as well again as aiding in that low back pain. So this could be done in two ways, just like our Cobra was, depending on how tight that back is. First way here, one leg is going to be up. Think like you're doing a crossbody crunch. That leg is up, and we're going to gently push that knee further and further away. You should be feeling this all across the back of the leg there. So again, relieving a lot of that pain you may be feeling from that sciatica, and we're low and slow with that knee. So this will be your first step to this stretch. And if you're feeling comfortable with this and you feel like you could go a little bit further with this one, at that point, doing your best to keep that knee pushed away, you would lift this leg up, drive the hands, interlock the fingers under the knee, and bring that leg up. Again, doing the best to keep the hips on the floor, relax the neck, and this will be that second point there. And last but not least, this is my absolute favorite back stretch. It's probably the one I recommend most often. It's called the supine spine stretch. So we're going to be in the same position on the back here, and arms are going to be right about at shoulder level. So you don't want them overhead or right by the sides. We want them off to the shoulder level. One leg is going to come up, and we are going to drive it off to the side. Now, this would be most likely where your leg would end up if you have any injuries or any replacements where you're very, very tight. And eventually your goal for this one would be to get that toe to touch the floor without either shoulder coming off of the floor. Now, if you're having a lot of trouble with this one, there's two other options for you. First one is to bring both knees up and turn to that same side. So that's going to take a little bit of the tension off of the legs, off the quads that you may have been feeling before. And now from there, you could extend the top leg, and again, you'll feel that same stretch that we were before, just a little bit less tension. And then the second option would be to keep that leg bent. So we're still doing just single leg now, but now we're keeping the leg bent. And you could also apply some pressure to that knee, or have your partner or have a friend apply a little bit of pressure to that knee to help it come down just a little bit more. But as always with these stretches, guys, keep in mind you want to be gentle with your body. There's nothing worse than getting into a stretching routine only to have every single one of the stretches feel excruciating. If this is the first time you're stretching in a long time, expect each and every one of these moves to not feel like a walk in the park. It's going to take some time for things to stretch out and to feel a little bit better, but the most important part of stretching is consistency. Again, if this is the first time you're doing this, try to get into a habit of stretching once a week. Once you got that habit down for a month, add a second day in the week, 2 times a week, so on and so forth until you're able to continuously stretch in a daily habit. It's only going to help you prevent pain and injury from occurring due to tightness in the muscles there. All right, so that being said, let's hop into our stretching routine. What we're going to be doing is holding each one of our 5 stretches for 1 minute. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, 30 seconds is the absolute minimum a stretch can be held before your muscle spindles start to relax and actually allow your body to feel the benefits of a stretch. Anything faster than 30 seconds is not giving your body the benefit of a static stretch. So if you've ever done a stretch that's super quick and you're moving to the side and you're doing this, well, it might feel like you're doing something, you're actually not helping your body out. So that might be another reason why you're still in pain after doing a stretching routine, is because you're not holding it long enough. So we're going to be holding each one of these stretches here for a full minute. It might seem like an eternity, but you're only doing yourself a favor. That being said, let's hop to our back with the knee to chest stretch. All right, so head into our back here, picking one side you want to start with. That knee comes up to the chest. Again, try your best to relax that back, relax those hips, and keep that extended leg nice and straight. Keep in mind, if you have a towel or a light pillow, you can always keep that behind the head for some added support. Nothing wrong with that. And when I'm in these stretches, sometimes I like to just move that ankle around here. Of course, ankle flexibility also plays in to some of our back pain as well. Very good. Nice and gently let that leg come down. Other leg is going to come up. There we go. First minute down. We're doing good. And the second minute begins now. Up after this stretch, we have our child's pose stretch. Very good. So we'll come on up. We're going to be flipping around on all fours to start. So my knees are about hips distance apart here. And I'm going to be sinking down, getting as low as you can, trying to keep those arms nice and straight in front of you. Again, if you can help it, do your best just to relax that neck. Try not to look up. Try to just relax in the moment here. I know sometimes a minute feels like an eternity in our fast lives. But just remember the time you're taking today to try and help better yourself for tomorrow can truly pay off in the long run. Coming up, we're going to be heading into our Cobra. There we go. So relaxing down. Remember, you could always start on the forearms. Today I'm going to be staying on my forearms for the full minute. And then if you're comfortable, you could always come up to straight arms. But just keep in mind, you want that hip to be on the floor. Now you may feel a little bit of tension on the low back there. That's okay. It's part of the stretch here. Just try to relax. Try to focus on breathing slowly here. We've got 10 seconds, then we're heading back to our back for that piriformis stretch. So like we mentioned before, again, 2 different ways to do this stretch. You can either hold here with a gentle push to the knee or extend all the way up top. Today I'm just going to keep my leg down and apply some pressure to that knee coming out. Now another way you could do this is by elevating your leg up against a wall. Let's say the second option was a little too challenging, but just this one was too easy for you. That might be another option for you as well. Very good. Other side, and then we're going to be heading into our last stretch. And that minute begins now. Up we have our supine spine stretch. You're going to have 3 different options for this stretch. They'll be popping up on your screen as we head into it. There we go. And this is going to be our last one for today. Again, one of my favorites. It really targets a lot and helps with the back there. So picking one side. This is another one. You might not get that foot all the way to the floor today, but that is okay. It's not expected. But over time, it's a great signal to kind of show your flexibility improving. Just remember, if that foot is touching the ground, those shoulders should also remain on the floor. So if one shoulder is all the way up, then put the shoulder back on the floor and see if that leg pops up. No cheating with these ones. You're only cheating yourself if you are. Very good. Bringing it up and back down. And we're going to be switching sides here for our last minute. Fantastic. Good. Good. Feel free to extend those arms and reach those legs out nice and far. Spend as much time as you would like here. And when you're ready, you could head on up. Very good. All right, team. So that was 5 different back stretches that I highly recommend. Again, that was just a start into the stretches that can assist with that pain you are feeling. As somebody who has had very serious back pain in the past, I can tell you that stretching consistently is a phenomenal way to help relieve as well as prevent future back pain from occurring. I can tell you that no matter how many chiropractic, acupuncture, massage visits I went to in the past, nothing compares to simply staying on a solid regimen when it comes to stretching. And that's not to bash or slander anybody out there who goes to see chiropractors or acupuncture on a regular basis, because I do recommend getting things checked out if you're having a lot of pain. However, your goal should not be only to rely on those services for the rest of your life, right? If you're going to see a chiropractor, their goal should be able to get you out of there feeling good, not scheduling the next appointment each and every week. So I'm happy to say that I have graduated from my chiropractor and now doing just my own stretches here. And that should be your goal too. If you're having some serious back problems, do your best. Listen up to your chiropractor, because I'm sure they're telling you got to do what they're telling you on your own time, right? A half hour or an hour session once a week is not going to fix the problems that are occurring the several other hours all throughout the week. So keep that in mind, and fantastic work if you made it this far in the video. Again, keep on coming back and keep on stretching, and I hope you guys feel better. My name's Coach Trevor with the LW Strength Club, and I'll see you guys next time.